But wait, you say, we've already done a video on the 2021 Chevy Suburban. Well, this video isn't going to be about the Suburban as a whole because this Suburban is different. So if you want to know about that Suburban, go watch that video. Link in the description, blah, blah, blah. The reason we're doing another video on the Suburban is because this Suburban has a diesel. A Duramax diesel lives under the hood, and that makes this just quite a bit more interesting. So real briefly, I will touch on the basics of the Suburban, which we've already covered, as I just mentioned. The outside looks really good. They did a nice job redesigning the outside of these things. Moving to the inside, it's supremely comfortable. There's great tech for a vehicle like this. There's plenty of room. It's comfortable because they revised the rear suspension setup on these. If you have to move a lot of people, this is a great vehicle to do so in if you don't want a van. Now, this video though, like I said, specifically we're talking about the diesel. So what is it? This is not some giant 6.6 stump pulling, yeah, Duramax, blah, 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 or some Cummins or whatever. This is a Duramax, but it is a 3-liter straight 6 turbo diesel. Now that doesn't seem like a big enough engine for a big vehicle like this, but I'm here to tell you that it is. This is the same diesel that debuted in the Chevy Silverado for 2020. Here with the Suburban, we're dealing with 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. And the horsepower doesn't sound like a lot, but the torque is great. Paired with the 10-speed automatic, I'm telling you, this thing gets up and gets out of its own way very nicely, very smoothly, and with just that lovely hint of a little bit of turbo diesel, swoosh, that whooshing noise that I think diesel fans really appreciate when they have a diesel vehicle. And I get it, it does sound kind of cool. So, enjoy it. You can hear it here, but it's not too loud. This doesn't clatter away like an older Mercedes. GM paid attention to adding extra underhood noise abatement materials to keep the clatter down, and that's smart. And this engine has a lot of other great tech working for it. It's an aluminum block. There's active thermal management to make sure when you have to start this in really cold weather, it fires right up. The intake manifold is electronically variable so that the performance is optimized throughout the entire power band. It's nice. This revs to just over 5,000, which is pretty good for a diesel engine. But the amazing thing is when you, in the center display here, the gauge cluster, when you set it to show you your available fuel range, I had driven this for a few minutes and it still showed 650 miles of range. That's crazy. You would not need to hit the gas station that many times if you drove one of these cross country. That's bananas in a Suburban. The fuel economy ratings came out for the 2-wheel drive vehicles first, and on the Tahoe, which you can also get this engine in, it can do 28 miles per gallon on the freeway. The Suburban is rated at 27, just a mile per gallon down. I think the 4-wheel drive ones, I saw some numbers. I don't know if they're EPA certified yet, but I did see numbers, and I think it's just 26 miles per gallon for the 4-wheel drive ones. That's crazy in a Suburban. Obviously that's not towing, but that's crazy. And it's really good. And that puts this into a class of its own. This is the first full-size SUV to have a diesel in this class, which is kind of insane to me that this hasn't popped out before, but here we are. Now, I said you can get these as 2-wheel drive models or 4-wheel drive models, and that's pretty cool. And then you can get these on almost every trim, from the LS, LT, RST, Premier, and on up onto the High Country. You cannot get it on the Z71. I feel like that's some bullshit. I would love to see the off-road tough version with the diesel for the torque. And it's not like you're smashing dunes, so you don't need the 6.2 to just haul ass through the desert in one of these. So the diesel would be a nice option on the Z71. Give it to us, Chevy. Come on! On the trims that it is available, with the exception of the High Country, it is a $995 option over the base engine. And so with the exception, again, of the High Country, that base engine, Sean Connery engine, the base engine is a 5.3 liter V8. When you jump to the top spec High Country, the standard engine becomes a 6.2 liter V8, which is an awesome engine choice. And if you want to switch to the diesel on that version, you actually save $1,500 because the 6.2 liter is so awesome. So you can get a high country with the diesel and save a little bit of dough. You're not saving that much dough because Suburbans aren't cheap. They for how much vehicle you get, it's probably a good value for the person who really needs it and puts it to the test. A base Suburban starts just over $50,000. So add $1,000 to that or more if you want the four-wheel drive version. So a base high country starts at $70,000 and then take $1,500 off for the diesel. And there you go. So that's where the pricing ranges, and then you can add options on from there, of course. This one has great seats. But I'm not going to, again, I'm not going to dive too deeply into the tech and the other stuff because we're focused on the engine here. It's smooth. It drives really nicely. I'm just kind of cruising along here, and it's at 1,500 RPMs, and it's just chilling there. It's nice and quiet in the cabin. I'm the loudest, shoutiest thing in here at the moment. This is a nice space coupled with a nice, efficient, powerful engine. This is a solid choice. If you are buying a Suburban because you need to move a lot of people and also tow, I don't see why you wouldn't get this one. The 6.2 liter V8 is awesome. It goes. It's a great choice. It's better than the 5.3 liter V8. Obviously, no question about it. If you are buying a Suburban, I recommend that 6.2 liter V8. But that was until I drove this one. Because I feel like if you're gonna buy one of these, if you buy a Suburban, you better be towing with it. Because otherwise, what's the point? If you have to put a lot of people into a vehicle, I really think a Transit or a Sprinter are better options. Maybe less so the Sprinter if you want to save a bit of money. But again, $70,000 for a high country, you can spend that much easily on a Sprinter. So I don't see the need, and it's easier to get people in and out of a Sprinter or a Transit, something like that. Though, it's easy with the captain's chairs to get back to that second row too, to give credit back to the Suburban. But this is just such a ridiculously big vehicle. So you need to put a lot of people in this stuff. So then I assume if you're buying this, you also want to tow. For the record, the two-wheel drive model, the tow rating for the Suburban with the diesel is 8,000 pounds, and the payload capacity, I think, is 1,625. It's a tiny bit higher on the Tahoe, just because I think there's a little bit less heft to that vehicle, so you can bring the tow rating, the capacities up. So this is a useful, capable vehicle if you have people and stuff. I believe the diesel Suburban is the official vehicle of very fancy horse trailers. And if you are towing horses, this is a perfect vehicle to do so. Because, unless it's just you and your horses, then you can do so with a truck. But if it's you, your significant other, and your kids who are spoiled because they own horses, then you use this to tow them and everybody and all your stuff and that big trailer in comfort and reliability and efficiently, and you're saving at the fuel pump at the same time over if you had, like a 2,500 or a 3/4 ton pickup, something to that effect. Watch, I'm gonna mash it going up this hill. Downshift, get through the gears. It's smooth, it's easy, it's comfortable. It never got overly shouty. It's good. This thing is a smartly packaged thing. They didn't need to stick a 6.6 liter turbo diesel under the hood of this thing or whatever the larger Duramax is in bigger, heavier duty trucks. A 3 liter inline 6 is perfect here. That's crazy, but it is truth. They did a good job with this one. Kudos, Chevy. Now give us a diesel Escalade that no one would buy, but I think it would be cool for the absurdity factor of it. Pause. Let's take a moment because I'm an idiot who is not great at his job sometimes. So I wanted to stop here as I'm literally editing this video right now to come back in and say, Cadillac is making a diesel Escalade. How about that? That's kind of cool. It's like they read my mind, even though they already put it out there, and I probably read it and subconsciously said, oh, they should do this, blah, 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 blah. Word diarrhea. So I just wanted to jump back in and say, I'm dumb sometimes, but at least I caught it. So comments can't be like, you don't know shit about your job. That Escalade's already got a diesel, you dumb. Well, now you can't say that. I mean, you can kind of still say it, but but you also sort of can't. So suck on that. This thing's cool. I don't need it. 99% of the people out there who own and buy vehicles in this country do not need it, but for those of you who do, it's a damn fine option. This is a Premier trim, so this is nice. I had the sticker price down here. Premier trim, base price $68,300 on this. As tested is $79,115, which is a lot because the sunroof. So the Premier package adds sunroof and adaptive cruise and rear pedestrian alert, trailer brake controllers, all kinds of crazy shit. Rear seat media system on this is another option. Power retractable side steps is another option. So I mean, it adds up quick. That's how you get to 79. That's bananas because now you're over high country pricing. So, I mean, get the high country at that point. And then it's funny too, this paint is actually really cool. I looked at the key when I grabbed it off my key rack and it said some kind, what the heck did it say? I have the key right here, I'll tell you what it said. It said midnight blue metallic. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? The thing's black. And because the way it was parked in my driveway, and I only have a day with this. I only have 24 hours with this vehicle, which is why this is rushed and I'm not diving into deeper stuff. So what the hell are they talking about? The thing's black. I ran to Starbucks and I was walking away from the vehicle. I'm like, holy shit, it's blue. It's a really cool dark blue that in the shade looks black. And then when the sun hits it, it's this really nice dark blue. This is a really cool paint job. And it looks really good with the tan interior. Again, we're not talking about the quirks and features of this one. I'm not going DeMuro on this. Not that I ever do. Doug has that lockdown. Go watch Doug's videos for those. He just reviewed an $8 million Bugatti. I love it. Good on you, Dougie. Also, he just bought an RS2. Brilliant. You're a hero in the industry, my friend. So, to sum up, because I am a rambling idiot with too much caffeine in his veins. Diesel, good. Small diesel, good. Works well. Drives well, vehicle is smooth, revised suspension on the new Suburbans is great for what it is, and if you need this vehicle, this is a good choice. Buy it. Diesel freight train. Okay.